Annyeonghaseyo, all my beautiful people. How are you doing today? Welcome to the alternate point of view. Welcome to all of my OGs who've been watching this channel, subscribing to the channel, liking and sharing. Welcome to all the new people who have been watching this videos and liking and sharing. Please like, subscribe, and share. Love all the comments from everyone yesterday. I appreciate it so much. I have really not been 100%, but I thank you all for watching, commenting. I love the comments. It's so great. So I appreciate it so much. So today we are going to be talking about the Karen Read trial. This trial is, y'all, it has been lagging. It has been, I would dare say, boring, but if you really pay attention, to this trial, there are some little nuggets in there that are worth the wait. So if you don't know much about me and my background, if you didn't watch the intro to what this channel is about and who I am, I do have a background in criminal justice and forensics, and I also have been certified in my past life in interviews and interrogations. So if you guys watch true crime, then you have seen some interview and interrogation videos on YouTube, and for the most part, they do follow the Read technique. And the Read technique is different from what I have been trained in. I was trained in the Wicklander-Zawalski technique, which is we call WZ. And that technique teaches you how to get a confession out of people in a little more friendly type of way and a little more rapport building type of way. As far as the Read technique goes, it does have that added in there, but it's more of a I got you already kind of a technique, and it is a more aggressive way of interviewing and interrogating someone. Whereas the WZ technique is more layers, and layers. So as I watch these trials and I watch people testify on the stand, I do watch it from a point of view as if I were interviewing someone to get a confession out of them. And watching this Karen Read trial is definitely like a slow burn. It is definitely a slow burn. So you have to have some patience and wait for those moments where you can catch someone in a lie or catch where the prosecution has spoon-fed some information to these witnesses that they have, putting them on the stand to create the narrative and the storyline that they have made for this case that they have built against Karen Read. Now, where does all of that fit in to this trial? Well, I'll tell you. Every one of their witnesses has the same story to tell. The same baseline story that they are telling the jury and the public that they want everyone to believe is that John O'Keefe never went into the house. Okay? That is what everyone is saying that was at the house. So you have the Alberts and the McCabe's. They're all related to each other. They're all married to someone or their cousins or something to the effect of. They're all related. Then you have the one-offs. Brian McGinnis, you have Julie, you have Sarah, you have a couple of friends here and there that are not related to the Alberts or the McCabe's, but they have known them their whole lives. So you have these people that have also been all in a group chat together. You have to think about how tight-knit these people have been with each other through their entire lives. They've lived in Canton or that area their entire lives. So they're not close to Karen. Karen is an outsider. Karen is someone who dated John, but she's not part of the group. She's not part of this family. She's not part of their clique. She's not in with these people. So whatever happened that night, that January 28th, 29th, whatever happened, Karen is, how you should say, a casualty of war, basically. So I don't know what happened that night. I say there's three things that could have happened. One, he could have fell himself and hit his head and died in the snow. I don't know. The other, he could have gone into the house and maybe there was a brawl, a fight of some sort. I'm not really sure. I feel like the defense is focusing entirely too much on some things that are kind of, I get what they're trying to do is poke holes in the prosecution's story. That's what their job is. But I think that they're tough to prove kind of things, but it's not up to the defense to prove. Also, did she hit him? I don't know. There's no way to prove that she did or didn't, because all the evidence that the prosecution has is after the fact evidence, and it's circumstantial at best. So all they have are all of these family witnesses that are very tight-knit together, family, that are saying that he never came into the house. And they're protecting Colin. No one ever said or mentioned that Colin was there until way later, like last year or later, because that's when Colin was actually interviewed, was last year. So this is a pretty crazy story, because you have a family that lived at this address, that sold their house, got rid of their dog, never mentioned Colin was in the house, and changed their phone numbers or changed their phones or upgraded their phones altogether. Everyone. That's not suspect at all. So I just think that everyone's baseline is all the same. John O'Keefe never entered the house. Okay, that's the baseline. Then you have the story of the taillight. Okay, some of them say they couldn't tell if the taillight was gone, and some of them say, oh yeah, there was no taillight. Then there's the other storyline of, yes, we saw the Suburban pull up, then we saw it leave. We saw it do a 3-point turn. We saw it pull up, pull in, pull out, pull in, pull out. Yeah. So then there's the baseline, another storyline of, there was a vehicle in the front of the house that had a snowplow on the front. Some people saw it, some people didn't. It was there or it wasn't. So very strange storylines these people have. But for the prosecution, these witnesses are able to remember times, dates, all kinds of stuff, like very detailed things. But for the defense, I don't recall. I don't remember. So they interviewed Colin. They had Colin on the stand. They had his cousin on the stand. And Colin is a 20-year-old kid. You know, he's being a 20-year-old kid on the stand. He's looks like a college kid, preppy, straight-laced kid on the stand. The defense gets to him after the prosecution, after he's answered everything perfectly fine, very straight arrow, great kid on the stand, looks like he could do nothing wrong, sweet little angel. The defense gets to him, and, you know, he's still trying to be this perfect little angel kid on the stand. And of course, they start showing pictures and text messages, and they're like, you know, how do you go from talking to your best friend, your cousin, every single day through text messages and whatnot, and literally the last text message you guys have on your phone is January 29th for her to come pick you up at the Albert's house, and then there's not another text message until February 20th. How does that happen? When that's your main means of communication, pretty much, is via text. But he's like, you know, I don't know. Maybe we just talk some other way. Snapchat, WhatsApp, whatever, you know. So also, you know, he wasn't spoken to by anyone other than Michael Proctor, who is also a very close friend of the Albert family, until last year. And it was only for like 10 minutes. Just a casual conversation. Oh, you were there? Oh, cool. That's neat. So, yeah, I think it is a very strange mix going on. It's like just a weird story. I think the prosecution has coached these witnesses, because every question they ask one witness, once the next witness comes up, the next witness literally answers and fills in the blanks for the witness that was there before. And the judge is allowing it, which is the craziest part, because the defense will be like, objection, and judge's like, I'll allow it. And you're like, what? Why does this matter? Why does this information matter to this case? And then you figure out why. Because the next witness is going to come up and fill in that blank. So, for instance, today's witnesses were the McCabe's, Matt and Jennifer McCabe. So, Matt McCabe was asked, you know, about going to the Albert's house on Fairview. John O'Keefe, again, and I will say this again in this video, as I've said in other videos, John O'Keefe is being lost, and his family is being lost in all of this circus of a trial it's just a nightmare for the family of the O'Keefes. I feel terrible for them, and I pray that his family and John O'Keefe can find peace, because this is awful what they are putting his family through for whatever reason. This circus of a trial where he is being lost in the mix because they are trying to prove something that I don't think they have enough evidence to prove. And they're painting Karen Reed as this horrific person who did something that I don't know if they have the evidence to prove that she did. So Matt McCabe is on the stand, and he's pretty solid, like on all his answers for the prosecution, of course, as they all are when the prosecution is asking. Yes, I remember. Yes, that was that night. Yep, I was doing this. I was doing that. We were with this family. We had a basketball game. We were all there. Then we went to the waterfall. We had drinks. We left the waterfall around 12:20. Yep. Then we went to the Albert's house, and John O'Keefe called me on the phone, and we gave him directions to the Albert's house. And then he called back and asked for more specific directions. And we said, oh yeah, you passed Bella's house. And they said, oh, who's Bella? Bella's a friend of our daughters and his niece. And what else about Bella? Oh, well, John dated her mom a few years back. And the defense is like, whoa, objection. And the judge is like, I'll allow it. First of all, why is that relevant? Why is it relevant that John dated Bella's mom years ago? It's not. It's not relevant. It is not at all relevant to this case whatsoever, but the judge allowed it. And then the defense gets to Matt McCabe and is like, so do you remember sending this text message to the group text that you have with the Alberts? Nope. Do you remember saying this in your initial interview with Michael Proctor? No, I never said that. But I have it in print where you said it. I never said that. I never said the vehicle was facing the right. It's always been on the left. But you said it, and then he just starts like, he's constantly, it was a circle. It was like a never-ending vicious cycle of him going back and forth with the defense attorney of whether he said what side of the house the vehicle was on, even though it's literally in black and white that he said that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. And the judge finally was like, give it up. Give it up. He's never going to say that he said that. So the defense is constantly trying to impeach these witnesses. The judge is getting tired of the defense trying to impeach these witnesses because the witnesses will not be impeached. They won't allow themselves to be impeached because whatever they said prior to this trial, they're not backing down. Because the prosecution has been like, whatever you said in the last interviews, you just deny that you said it. Even if the defense shows you that it is in black and white on paper, you just say, nope, never said it. Didn't come out of my mouth. What I said today is what matters. Because they have their story so straight with the prosecution's narrative that they will not come off like, well, if it says it's in black and white, must have been said, but I don't remember saying it. Nope. I don't recall. This is the most baffling trial I have ever seen. But I can just tell you, these people all have their story in line together. For sure. John O'Keefe never entered that house. And then, why is it relevant that they tell John that the house on Fairview is off of Chapman? You have to pass Bella's house. Who's Bella? Oh, John dated her mom. Why does that matter? Oh, well, when Jennifer gets on the stand, this is why it matters. Well, let's see. Karen calls Jen at around 5:50 something in the morning, 5:53, 5:43, I don't know, whatever, but she was dead on the time. She knew exactly what time it was. And she's screaming at Jen hysterically. Jen, John's missing. I can't find John. Where's John? She's screaming. And you got to get over here. We got to go to Fairview. So she goes, of course, running over to Karen. They go to Fairview with another woman, Carrie, and they drive over, and Karen's screaming in the car, screaming hysterically, where's John? Oh, and then, of course, she has to throw in there so that she can build up to the whole EMT lines where she said 3 times, I hit him. She has to build up to that, right? She has to build up in the car. Karen is saying, did I hit him? You think I hit him? Do you think I hit him? I hit him. Do you think I hit him? And oh my God, I must have hit him. And they're like, Karen, calm down, shut up, what are you saying, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, they're driving down Chapman, and then she's saying, do you think it could be at her house? Do you think it could be at Bella's house? Ashley's mom, her house? Do you think it went to her house? And then they're like, no, that's ridiculous. They're crazy. Why are you saying that? And then, of course, Carrie has to say, or do you think it could be at her house? And what do you mean her house? And the prosecutor's like, whose house is that? Oh, it's another woman John dated years ago. Why is that relevant? It is not relevant. They are trying to paint a picture that Karen is this jealous, crazed woman, and that John and Karen were arguing prior to his hit and run in the snow. But yet everyone who's gotten on the stand has said that they were a perfectly happy couple and nothing was going wrong. But somehow Karen just flipped and ran him over, hit him with the car, and killed him. All because what? Because some woman he used to date on the same road years ago? Oh, and then Matt McCabe, while he's on the stand, now, never once has anybody said anything about a missing taillight, okay? Only the prosecution has talked about this missing taillight. But they have to incorporate this missing taillight somehow into their narrative. So how do they do that? Well, by Matt McCabe, of course. Matt McCabe is on the stand, and he says that when Karen calls, now he saw, supposedly, the black SUV in front of the Alberts' house that night, and he says he saw it. He wasn't paying attention to the taillights. He just saw the black SUV facing Chapman, even though he thought they'd be coming from Chapman. So how possibly could it be facing Chapman if they were coming from Chapman? I don't know. Maybe she did a 3-point turn. Got that in there. But missing taillight. How do you get that in there? How do you get that in there? Let's see. Oh, yeah. When Karen calls Jen and she's screaming into the phone hysterically, wondering where John is, Matt realizes, oh, you can't ride with Karen. She has a missing taillight. That's dangerous in this weather. How could you ride with Karen? She has a missing taillight. What? Where in the world does that come from? That's what you're thinking of? And how did you know she has a missing taillight? Did Karen say that on the phone? Wait, I have a missing taillight. My boyfriend's missing, and I have a missing taillight. Oh my gosh, that's not safe. You can't ride with her with a missing taillight in this weather. What? This is so rehearsed, you guys. This is like bad acting 101. This is horrible. But that's how they squeezed it in there. Squeeze in that missing taillight so we can put that in the narrative because that's what we got. We got that missing taillight. Hello. There wasn't any taillight. By the way, in case you all forgot, no taillight pieces were found until well after the scene was cleared up and they impounded Karen Reed's car well after the fact. Also, they weren't in Karen Reed's car when they found John's body. They were in Carrie Roberts' car when they found John's body, which, by the way, also, there is a video, I'm going to try and attach it to my description below, of the police officer who arrives first on scene, where his dash cam is driving down Chapman onto Fairview Road in that weather, and supposedly in Carrie Roberts' car, Karen, as they're pulling onto Fairview and they get to the house, she screams out, "There he is!" She sees John, and she jumps out of the car, runs over to him, pulls his shirt up, pulls her shirt up, throws her body on top of him. And then Carrie Roberts has to go over, though, and dig his face out from under the snow. What about any of that makes any sense? I'm sorry. Then Jennifer McCabe says his body was completely covered in snow. How in the holy hell did Karen Reed see him? Through the snow, through the windows that are fogged up, through the windshield wipers, through it all, through his body being completely covered in snow, and was able to run over to his body, lift his shirt up and lift her shirt up and throw her body on his body. But yet, Carrie Roberts had to dig his head out of the snow. How does any of that make any sense? And then, don't forget, we have to add in that Jennifer McCabe researched on her phone, how long does it take to die of hypothermia in the snow? Because she researched that on her phone. So we got to throw that in there because that's part of the prosecution as well. Well, of course, Karen made her look that up. Karen was hysterical. She was screaming. How do we fit that into the narrative? Oh my gosh, we also have to fit, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. We got to fit that in the narrative. Remember, she's in the back seat of the car with Carrie Roberts and she's screaming, oh my God, I might have hit him. Did I hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him? They're screaming back at her, shut up. Of course not. That's crazy. Of course you didn't hit him. And then, of course, the EMTs were there. And of course, she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. And of course, Jennifer McCabe's got to say it. Well, the whole time she was staying in the car, I hit him. I think I hit him. I think I hit him. I'm going to hit him. Did I hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him? No. Then she gets to the scene. The EMTs were there and she says it 3 times. I hit him. I hit him. I hit him. So what she did say, though, was, is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead? That she says, that clearly she says that on the dash cam of the police car. She claims that when she gets put into the patrol car, because she's hysterical, the cops can't hear themselves think. No one can hear themselves think because she's screaming so hysterically. They put her in the police car. She and Carrie Roberts and Jennifer McCabe are in the police car. She asked them to pray with her, so she says. And she's like, please go check on John. Please go check on John. See if he's dead. Is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead? And she asked Jennifer, please look up on her phone. Look it up, look it up, look it up. How long does it take to die of hypothermia in the cold, in the snow, in the snow, in the snow? Please look it up, look it up. And then Jennifer McCabe puts into her statement on the stand, it is freezing cold outside. It's snowing. My hands are numb. I can't type. I'm shaking. I have MS. Karen Reed is screaming and yelling at me, hysterical. I'm trying to type into my phone with my hands shaking. How long does it take to die of hypothermia in the snow? And of course she misspells it, right? And she types it in multiple times. Now, this is why I tell you, this is where my interview and interrogation viewpoint comes in, because she added way too much filler into that answer. We don't need to know that she has MS. We don't need to know that it's freaking cold and snowing outside, because we already know that. We don't need to know that she's shaking. We don't need to know that Karen Reed is hysterical and screaming at her. We don't need to know all of these things. We don't need to know any of that. She's putting that filler in there to justify why she's researching this into her Google. Why? We don't need all of this extra information. She has MS. Her hands are shaking. She's freezing. It's cold outside. It's snowing. Karen Reed is screaming hysterically. We don't need all of that information. All she had to do was say, Karen had me look it up. But she had to add all of that in there because why? Because it was misspelled. She had to explain that. She had to explain why it was on her phone in Google search engine. She had to explain all of these things away. So that's why. She had to throw all those little nuggets in there. So granted, the trial is slow, but if you pay attention to little things, you'll hear where their inconsistencies are with each of these witnesses. The baseline is staying the same. John O'Keefe never entered the house. Now, what's crazy is when you hear them refer to John O'Keefe, some of them say John, some of them say Mr. O'Keefe, some of them say that guy, some of them say refer to Karen as Karen, some of them refer to her as Miss Reed, some of them refer to her as that woman. It's crazy. They're like, we were friends, we were acquaintances. Then they detach themselves all together. Then all of a sudden they start acting like they're tearing up, like, oh, we were just concerned about our friend. No, these people are only concerned about covering for whatever they're covering for. I'm not really sure what it is because, like I said, I don't know. Did they do something? Or did he just fall in the snow or fall over the curb and hit the fire hydrant? I don't know what happened to this guy. We'll never know what happened to him. And that's what's so sad for the O'Keefe family, is that I don't think they're going to get justice for John, because if something really did happen to John, no one's saying anything. They're never going to find out. The cops are going to never investigate this case again. If Karen Reed gets off on this, they're never going to investigate what really happened to John, because they think they have put it all on Karen Reed, and the prosecution is really spinning the twine here. They're really spinning this narrative. They have everyone filling in the blanks for them. They have completely trained these witnesses, got these witnesses all in row, like got their ducks in a line, okay? I cannot believe how well synced they all are. But they're all family. They're all related. So of course they're well synced. They are going to cover for each other. They're best friends. These people have known each other their whole lives. So they're going to take it to their graves. So this is like crazier than a government like coup. It's nuts. Again, if you have not seen the Departed or Street Kings or any of those kind of films, you got to watch them, because this is total movie stuff. This is crazy, but it's real life. This is really happening. And I'm not saying like I'm either or for either side. I know that Karen has a lot of supporters. I'm really for John O'Keefe. I'm really hoping and praying that this man gets justice, his family gets justice, because I can't tell. His family is having to sit through this entire trial. They're in such a tight, confined space. They're listening to all of these witnesses come up there. And I feel terrible for his family that they may never see the justice that they deserve for John. I feel terrible for anyone if they're falsely being accused of anything. If the Alberts don't have anything to do with this, if the McCabe's don't have anything to do with this, and they're being ridiculed, I feel terrible for anyone. If Karen didn't do anything, I feel terrible she's even being on trial. I mean, if it was an accident, I don't really know, but I just feel like this is really sad that they're able to sit there and accuse someone wrongfully, and all of them have their story straight, and they would rather put her away than just say, look, man, the guy just died on our front lawn. I don't know. Like, it's sad. If it was an accident, it's an accident. But remember, they didn't have any pieces of broken taillight that they found until well after the scene was cleared up and they impounded her car. They didn't have any evidence of a hit and run or what have you until well after. So this whole narrative wasn't spun until after the fact. And there was no anything about a jealous girlfriend, no argument, no nothing until well after. She and John had a great relationship. Everyone attested to that. Everyone confirmed it. All of these other webs that they're weaving, it's all coming out of left field. So I can just say that the women are being super, super petty. They're saying some crazy things. For the Alberts to not have woken up, for Jennifer McCabe to say she had to go into their house, go up to their bedroom, walk into their bedroom. She didn't even remember if the dog was there. Now, this dog is supposedly not friendly. She went into their bedroom where the dog was, and the dog didn't wake up. She had to go all the way over to them, wake them up out of a dead sleep. Mind you, there's cops and ambulance and fire trucks and stuff in their front yard. Karen is hysterical, screaming out in the front yard, and they're dead asleep. I don't think so. You're telling me you had to go all the way up to them, wake them up? All this commotion is going on in their front yard. You don't hear any of it. The dog doesn't say anything. The dog doesn't bark, doesn't come up to you and, doesn't try and lunge at you or something. That dog doesn't know who you are when you're coming in the middle of the night, So I don't know. I find this whole story kind of weird and shady. I think that to see Jennifer McCabe is literally looking at Karen like with dagger eyes, like, bitch, you're going down, Like, I don't know why. Like, she's literally running over her with a bus, backing up and running over her again. Like, I don't know what the deal is and why she is so dead set. Like, they are dead set on, like, taking Karen Reed down. And it is strange to me because at first they talked about, like, they were girlfriends, like, oh, yeah, we were just talking, like girl talk, relationship talk, stuff like that. They were like, but then the next thing you know, in the same sentence, Miss Reed, well, that woman, like, I'm like, whoa, dang, that changed quick. Like, what the heck? So these people are some shady dang people. You do not want to get on their bad side. That's all I know. Don't go there. Don't hang around those people. They're either like, you get on their bad side, you will end up with cement shoes and fish treats, because that's what All I know is they're all lying. They're not telling the truth. They're putting a lot of filler, and the judge is allowing that filler. The judge is like saying, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. For real, seriously, like it's not, it makes no sense. She's not allowing a lot of stuff for the defense, which makes no sense. I've not seen a trial where the defense is not allowed more rope than she's allowing in this trial, because the defense should actually be given more than the prosecution, because the defense should be able to put on whatever defense they want, because they're defending their client. They should be able to give whatever they want for their defendant, because this is their person's life in their hands. So the prosecution has to use facts. They have to use evidence. And if they can't use hearsay, they can't use all this stuff they're adding in. That's all hearsay. Most of the stuff is circumstantial. Most of this evidence that they're putting in is hearsay, is third-party information. There are times when the judge is like, no, you can't say that. Just say what you know. But a lot of this fluff that they're putting in is fluff. Like, that's not necessary information. That whole information about John dated Bella's mom years ago, that's fluff. This whole information about, Karen asked me to look this up on my phone, but I have MS, and then this and that and the other, that's fluff. That's not necessary information. It's irrelevant. And the defense is right to object to that stuff, but for the judge to allow that information is not necessary. I don't understand what Massachusetts law, but there are cases they can cite for. This will be good for the appeal, because there are federal cases they can cite for this kind of stuff, because that is wrong. That's how I know that they're lying, because when they're able to, and that's how I know that they were prepped for the trial, because Jennifer McCabe was definitely prepped, because she had time stamps for everything. She was to the minute times on when she got phone calls, when she called certain people. Everything was very, very meticulous until she had to add filler into certain information, because that's when the lies were coming out. So you can tell when people are lying when they add a bunch of filler. But when they don't have all the information that's accurate, they have a bunch of filler. So she added all that in there because she wanted to be sure that she got all that in there, because it wasn't true. So also because she'd been prepped, and she knew that in order to get the prosecution's storyline across, she had to add all that in there. So I don't know what you guys think about this trial. Supposedly, this trial is just taking the world by storm, like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. But it is a very slow burn for this trial. But if you really pay attention to the little nuggets that get thrown out, you'll see that they are lying. They are straight up lying. And I don't know why. I really honestly can't figure out why they're lying. I don't know what's going on, why they're trying to pin up Karen Read for this. I think it's a sad situation, again, for John O'Keefe and his family. That's my biggest, really the main reason I'm watching this trial, is because I hate it for his family that they're going through this and they're suffering through this. And I hate it because I don't know if they really think they have the right person on trial. I think they want to think they have the right person on trial because they want justice and they want this to be over. But unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to be over, because they're never going to get justice, because this family's, they're just shady. And the prosecution and the judge, everyone is just, you may not believe these conspiracies or whatever can happen, but it's happening right here in front of your eyes. It's unfolding. And these people are all lying. So I appreciate you all so much. I will give you a couple of facts about Korea, which are pretty funny, but true. So in South Korea, there is no jaywalking. They do not jaywalk. They do wait for the sign to turn to allow them to walk across a crosswalk, because it is very dangerous. You will get hit by a car very quickly. Also, they do not hold the door open for you in South Korea. So don't expect anyone to do that. They don't do that. You will have a door slammed in your face real quick and fast and in a hurry. Also, they do not tip in South Korea. We don't have servers there like you do here. They don't come to your table when you get seated at a restaurant. There's a little bell you ring on the table when you're ready to order. And when you want a refill or you want anything, you ring the bell and they come over, and you do not tip. It's considered to be disrespectful. So You don't do that there. So yeah, happy Asian Heritage Month, everyone. And kamsahamnida. Thank you so much for watching this channel. I appreciate it all. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I will be talking to you all in the next video.